You don't see it happen. You feel it. One day, her tone changes. Her eyes hold your gaze a little too long. Her laughter sounds freer, softer, like she's not guarding herself anymore. And in that quiet shift, something powerful unfolds. The woman who once analyzed every word now simply relaxes in your presence. Her body language syncs with yours. Her rhythm, your rhythm. Her calm, your calm. But here's what most men don't understand. That moment isn't about romance. It's about energy. When her walls begin to fall, she's not asking for affection. She's asking for containment. Can he hold my emotion without losing himself? That's the question every woman asks silently. And the man who chases words, who explains, who performs, loses her without knowing why. Because attraction isn't built through effort. It's built through stillness. It's the gravity of your silence that draws her in, not your charm, not your compliments, not your chase. You don't win her heart by chasing her emotions. You win it by mastering your own. If she feels peace in your presence, she's already yours. Most men think women guard their hearts because they're picky, because they've been hurt, because they want to play games. But that's not the truth. A woman guards her emotions for one reason only: self-preservation. You see, women don't fall in love through logic. They fall through feeling. Every time she lets her emotions open towards someone, she's risking her sense of safety. And safety, to a woman, isn't about physical protection. It's emotional stability. It's knowing that if she lets her walls down, she won't have to rebuild them alone. That if she softens, you won't harden. That if she reaches out, she won't touch emptiness. That's why her guard exists. Not to test you, but to protect her peace from men who can't protect their own. When she first meets you, she's not assessing your looks. She's assessing your energy, your tone, your pace, your reaction to discomfort. Because she's seen it all before: men who speak with confidence but collapse under pressure, men who seem calm until rejection bruises their ego, men who mistake attention for connection. So she tests, not consciously, not cruelly, but instinctively. Every smile, every pause, every small withdrawal is data. She's not wondering if you'll fight for her. She's watching to see if you'll fight yourself, your impulses, your need to prove, your fear of losing control. Because here's what most men never understand. A woman doesn't fall for the man who gives her everything. She falls for the man who makes her feel safe, being herself. And emotional safety isn't built through words, it's built through composure. When she senses you're calm, her guard starts to question itself. Her body relaxes before her mind does. Her tone softens before she admits she feels something. It's not love yet, it's permission. Permission to exhale. Permission to stop pretending she doesn't care. Permission to feel, without fear of being judged for feeling. That's why you'll notice small shifts. She leans in a little closer. She laughs a little louder. She makes excuses to talk. It's not manipulation. It's her nervous system saying, "I think I can rest here." And the worst mistake a man can make in that moment is to rush in with validation, because the moment you start trying to prove your worth, She feels the frame crack. Her intuition whispers, "He needs my approval to feel strong." And just like that, her guard rebuilds itself higher than before. A man who truly understands the psychology behind her guard doesn't chase her attention. He cultivates his presence, because presence isn't about what you do. It's about the energy you hold when you do nothing. When you can sit in silence and not need to fill it. When you can sense her tension and not rush to fix it. When you can feel attraction rise and not lose your composure, that's when she starts trusting you. Not because you convinced her, but because your stillness taught her that she doesn't have to protect herself from you. That's what her guard responds to: containment. Not dominance. Not control. Containment. The man who can hold his own emotion teaches her that her emotion is safe too. That's when the dynamic shifts. That's when the space between you becomes magnetic, because now she's not afraid of it. Understand this. A woman's fear of connection isn't about you. It's about her history with chaos. She's been loved by men who couldn't love themselves. She's been heard by men who only listened to reply. She's been touched by men who never touched her soul. So she learned to survive by pulling back, by reading energy instead of words. And when she meets a man who carries peace instead of pressure, that survival instinct starts to crumble. Not instantly, slowly, subtly. She'll test that peace. She'll challenge it. She'll even try to shake it, because she needs to see if it's real. And if you stay grounded through her waves, her guard begins to dissolve, not because you forced it, but because you never demanded it to fall. When a woman feels safe, she surrenders. When she feels pressure, she resists. The difference isn't in what you say. It's in how steady you remain when she's uncertain. That's why emotional discipline isn't optional. It's your greatest form of attraction. It's what separates men who want love from men who can hold it. So the next time you sense a woman pulling back, don't chase her emotion. Anchor yours, because her guard isn't a wall. It's a mirror. And if you can stay calm enough to see your reflection in it, you'll realize the key to her heart was never about her. It was always about you. You'll never catch the moment it happens. It's too subtle, too human. It begins with rhythm, the quiet alignment between two nervous systems. She starts using your words, laughing when you laugh, pausing where you pause. She adopts your tone, your pace, even your silence. And you might think she's just being polite, but she's not. Her mind might still resist you. But her body, her instincts have already begun to synchronize. This isn't attraction on the surface. This is connection beneath awareness. A woman mirrors a man not because she's pretending, but because she's safe enough to stop pretending. Her nervous system begins to relax around yours. It's as if her energy says, "I can rest here." But here's the paradox. The moment she starts to mirror you is also the moment she becomes most fragile. Because that mirroring isn't about imitation, it's about trust. Her guard is still half standing, her emotions half exposed. She's entering the most vulnerable stage of attraction where she feels drawn, but doesn't understand why. And that confusion terrifies her, because every time she's trusted this feeling before, it led to pain, to men who rushed, demanded, proved, to men who mistook her openness for permission to take more. So when she begins to mirror you, understand this. It's not a green light to advance. It's a signal to stay still. The more aligned she feels with your energy, the more she'll test it. She'll create small storms, subtle delays, teasing remarks, moments of withdrawal. She's not pushing you away. She's asking one question in silence. Is his calm real, or is it a mask? Every man claims composure. Few can maintain it when their ego is challenged. She'll sense that shift when your patience turns to pressure, when your calm becomes control, when your warmth becomes need. And the moment she feels your energy tighten, she'll retreat. Not because she's cruel, but because her nervous system just lost its safety. That's how sensitive connection is. You don't lose it with an argument. You lose it the second your energy stops being grounded. A stoic man understands this truth. Her mirroring is not validation, it's responsibility. When she begins to align with your rhythm, you are now the emotional tone setter. Your energy becomes the baseline she regulates around. If you are calm, she softens. If you are scattered, she tightens. If you are peaceful, she opens. If you are reactive, she closes. You're not just leading her attention, you're shaping her emotional world without saying a word. This is why self-mastery matters. Because the woman who mirrors you isn't falling for your words. She's responding to your nervous system. You can't fake stability. You can only become it. Men often ask, how do I keep her interested? But that question already reveals the problem. You're trying to maintain energy instead of embodying it. Interest is fleeting. Energy is constant. And women feel energy more than words, more than logic, more than promises. When she mirrors your calm, it's because she feels that you're not performing. You're not trying to impress her. You're simply present. No anxiety, no rush, no chase. Just quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation because it's rooted in discipline. Presence is not about being around her. It's about being within yourself when you are. That's what she feels. That's what she mirrors. Not your perfection, your peace. When a man carries peace, it becomes contagious. She starts laughing more freely. She stops overanalyzing every word. She begins to trust the moment. That's when attraction deepens into attachment, not through effort, but through resonance. But here's the warning. This phase is delicate, because the same energy that draws her in can push her away if it becomes unsteady. If your calm shifts to complacency, she feels it. If your presence turns to performance, she senses it. If your stillness hides resentment, she withdraws. Her subconscious is scanning for truth. And truth isn't what you say, it's what you vibrate. When she mirrors you, your silence becomes the conversation. Every pause, every glance, every tone tells her more than 100 compliments ever could. Your stillness becomes her permission to feel. Your restraint becomes her reassurance. You don't need to prove you're safe, she'll feel it. You don't need to convince her you care, she'll sense it. You don't need to chase her, she's already following your rhythm. Because a woman who mirrors you is no longer deciding with her mind. Her emotions have already made the choice. But the real question is not whether you have her attention. It's whether you can hold it without losing your center. The man who controls his energy controls the connection, and that's what she's mirroring, not your moves, not your lines, but your inner peace. When you remain unshaken, she feels safe to be seen. When you stay grounded, she feels free to be soft. And when you stop chasing, she starts returning again and again. Not because you demanded it, but because your energy never left its axis. If she mirrors you, understand, it's not the moment to speak louder. It's the moment to become quieter, because in her reflection, you're seeing more than attraction. You're seeing proof that your stillness is working. That's how you know she's already halfway there, not because you chased her, but because she found peace in your gravity. Every man remembers that shift when she starts showing more effort, when her tone softens, when the tension between you finally feels like something real. That's the moment most men lose everything. Not because she changes, but because he does. You see, before she softened, you were grounded. You were detached. Your focus was on yourself, your purpose, your rhythm. You didn't overthink every text, every silence, every reaction. Your energy said, "I'm not chasing, I'm centered." And that's exactly what drew her in. It wasn't your words, it was your stability, your silence, your calm. But once she starts giving energy back, most men make a fatal mistake. They abandon the very energy that attracted her in the first place. They start talking more, texting more, asking questions like, "Do you still like me? Are we good? Did I do something wrong?" They start to manage her emotions instead of mastering their own. They turn from grounded to grasping, from calm to cautious, from steady to seeking. And the woman feels it immediately, because a woman's intuition doesn't listen to what you say, it listens to what your energy betrays. When she feels you shifting from presence to pressure, from mystery to management, her instincts start to pull away. Not because she stopped liking you, but because she stopped feeling safe in your uncertainty. She doesn't crave control, she craves containment. And containment disappears the moment you need her to make you feel enough. The truth is brutal. The second you start chasing reassurance, she stops feeling attraction, because attraction dies the moment she realizes she has emotional power over you. She wanted to surrender into your energy, but now she has to stabilize it. And no woman wants to be your emotional anchor. The Stoics had a word for this: autarkeia, self-sufficiency. It means being whole within yourself, not waiting for someone to complete you. And that's what modern men forget. They think intimacy means dependence, that love means losing yourself to prove devotion. But the deeper truth is the opposite. A woman only trusts love that's rooted in strength. She can relax into your presence only when she knows your peace doesn't depend on hers. If she senses that your calm exists only when she's kind, that your confidence collapses when she withdraws, then she knows your peace was never real, it was borrowed. That's the moment she starts to drift. She becomes quieter, less available, less playful. She'll test your balance one last time by pulling back, by becoming unpredictable, by letting silence do the talking. And your reaction will decide everything. If you chase, you confirm her fear. Your calm was conditional. If you retaliate her, you prove her right. Your ego was louder than your peace. But if you remain composed, if you hold your frame without punishing or pleading, that's when she feels something she can't explain. Respect. Respect is the foundation of lasting attraction. It's what separates men who are remembered from men who are replaced. The moment she feels your calm cannot be shaken is the moment she realizes she cannot replace you. But that calm must be authentic. You can't fake it for effect. You can't stay silent just to manipulate her emotions. She'll sense that too. True composure isn't about pretending not to care. It's about caring deeply while remaining unmoved by outcome. It's the art of letting emotion flow through you without letting it rule you. That's masculine energy at its highest form. Not dominance, not coldness, but control over self. When you start to feel her drift, when she's slower to respond, when she seems distant, remember this: it's not your job to restore the connection. It's your job to preserve your foundation. You are not losing her. You are being measured. She's watching how you handle uncertainty. She's testing whether your peace was situational or internal. And if you can stay grounded when she pulls away, you've already passed the test. Because in that silence, she'll feel it again, that same calm that made her lower her guard in the first place. And she'll return. Not because you chased her, but because your energy reminded her of peace. Most men chase validation. Stoic men embody value. You don't win women through performance. You win them through presence. You don't gain love by demanding loyalty. You gain it by being unshakable. A woman doesn't fall for the man who reacts to her emotions. She falls for the man who remains rooted through her storms. Because when she feels your energy stand tall against her chaos, her heart remembers what her mind tries to deny, that real safety isn't about control. It's about consistency in calm. The strongest man is not the one who conquers her emotions, but the one who never lets her emotions conquer his. That's why most men lose her after winning her. They stop being the energy that drew her in. They confuse connection with comfort. They trade mystery for maintenance. And slowly, she stops feeling the spark, not because it vanished, but because he stopped carrying it. The spark was never about chemistry. It was about his presence. And when that disappears, so does she. Every man has felt it, that sudden shift in her energy. One day she's warm, playful, leaning closer. The next day, she's quiet. Her replies get shorter. Her tone turns colder. And your mind begins to race. What happened? Did I say something wrong? Did I lose her interest? This is where most men panic. They start chasing clarity. They start explaining, apologizing, or overanalyzing. But here's the truth. She didn't pull away to punish you. She pulled away to test your peace. Because every woman, consciously or not, tests the strength of a man's emotional foundation. Not to hurt him, but to see if he's safe. You see, a woman's heart operates like the tide. It moves in and out, drawn by unseen forces. When she feels drawn to you, it's both beautiful and terrifying. Because her attraction awakens her vulnerability, And vulnerability feels dangerous to someone who's been disappointed before. So before she lets go completely, she tests the current. She needs to know if she moves closer. Will you stay grounded, or will you lose yourself in the waves of her emotion? Every test is her way of asking, without words, can I trust this man with what I feel? Most men see her tests as rejection. They take them personally. They think, she's losing interest. But the truth is far more profound. Her tests are not walls. They're doors. Doors that open only when you stop trying to force them. Doors that lead to deeper trust, but only if you walk through them with calm, not control. The man who reacts loses her. The man who remains composed earns her respect, because the calm man doesn't take her emotions as attacks. He sees them as information. Each emotional storm is her subconscious saying, I want to trust you, but I need to feel your strength first. The first kind of test she'll give you is emotional turbulence. She'll go quiet for no reason. She'll withdraw after an amazing day. She might suddenly seem cold or indifferent. This isn't random. It's her nervous system checking if your calm is conditional. If you start chasing, over-explaining, or begging for reassurance, you confirm her fear that your peace depends on her. But if you stay centered, if you give her space without resentment, if you simply continue living your purpose, you communicate something she rarely feels: safety. Because the moment she feels your energy remain unmoved, her own emotions start to settle. He's not reacting to me. He's anchoring me. That's when attraction deepens into respect. And respect is what transforms attraction into connection. The second kind of test is boundaries disguised as emotion. She'll question your decisions. She'll challenge your plans. She'll push against your limits, not to control you, but to measure your strength. She needs to feel that your calm has a spine, that your peace isn't weakness, it's direction. If you bend your principles every time she's upset, you might earn her approval, but you'll lose her respect. She doesn't want a mirror of her emotions. She wants a container for them. Someone who can hold space for her chaos without becoming part of it. When you stand firm without arrogance, without anger, she relaxes. Because she finally feels your presence has depth. That's when her tests turn into trust. The third kind of test is vulnerability cloaked as conflict. She might accuse you of being distant or provoke you just to see if you'll fight back. She's not searching for drama, she's searching for emotional truth. When a woman begins to care, her fear of losing control intensifies. She might try to trigger you to feel something real, to confirm that what she feels isn't one-sided. This is where most men fail. They match her emotion instead of mastering their own. They argue, defend, or attack, and in doing so, they teach her that her emotions have the power to destroy your peace. But a Stoic man understands her emotion is not an attack. It's an invitation to presence. If you can breathe through the chaos, stay kind through her tension, you teach her nervous system something it rarely learns. Love doesn't have to mean instability. Control begins, not with others, but within the self. That stoic truth is what her tests are really asking of you. She's not asking for dominance, she's asking for depth. She wants to know that you can stand firm in your values, that your confidence isn't performance. That your energy doesn't shatter when she feels insecure. She's watching what happens to your tone when she gets emotional. She's listening to the silence between your words. She's reading your posture, your breath, your pace, because her intuition doesn't care about what you promise. It only trusts what you embody. If you pass her tests, something changes. She stops performing. Her tone softens. Her laughter returns freer, lighter, because now she knows your peace can handle her truth. That's when her walls begin to melt. That's when her feminine essence begins to flow. She starts to lean on you emotionally. Not because she's weak, but because she finally feels strong enough to be soft. That's the power of a man who doesn't react. He transforms the space around him. Her gaze becomes calm. Her doubt becomes desire. Her distance becomes devotion. But here's the secret most men miss. You can't pass her tests by trying. The moment you try to be calm, you're not calm, you're performing. You can only pass them by being, by truly mastering your emotions, by cultivating inner peace long before you need to prove it. Because a woman can sense if your stillness is built on fear or discipline, and only discipline earns her trust. When your peace is rooted in purpose, her storms don't threaten you, they orbit you. Your calm becomes gravity, and eventually, her energy starts to settle into yours. The Stoic doesn't resist the storm. He becomes the eye of it. That's what her tests prepare you for. Not control over her, but mastery over yourself. Because once she realizes your peace can't be shaken, something shifts in her heart. The testing stops. The chasing stops. The games end. She no longer doubts your energy. She depends on it. And that's when connection becomes effortless. Not because she decided to love you, but because she finally feels safe being herself around you. If you ever wonder why she tested you, remember this. Her tests were never about proving your worth. They were about protecting her peace. And the man who can meet her storms with stillness, he doesn't just earn her love. He becomes her calm in a world that keeps her restless. Attraction begins in mystery. Attachment begins in safety. One is sparked by curiosity. The other is born from consistency. And in every real connection, there comes a moment when the energy changes. The laughter still feels alive. But it's no longer about excitement, it's about comfort. The silence between you isn't awkward anymore, it's peaceful. The need to impress fades, and what remains is something quieter, deeper, harder to explain. That's the shift when attraction becomes attachment. But here's what most men never realize: that shift doesn't happen when she says, "I love you." It happens when she finally stops questioning your presence. When attraction first begins, it's fragile. It lives in uncertainty and the tension between what she knows and what she feels. Her emotions pull her closer, but her mind warns her to stay back. She's drawn to your calm, but she doesn't trust it yet. So she tests it, again and again, until one day she stops. Not because she gave up, but because your energy gave her something her past never did: certainty. Not certainty in words, but in feeling. Your tone doesn't shift with her moods. Your peace doesn't disappear when she gets distant. Your purpose doesn't vanish when she pulls away. You stay, steady, silent, grounded. That's when the feminine heart begins to anchor itself in the masculine frame, not through control, but through trust. She doesn't say it out loud, but her nervous system whispers, "I can finally rest." That's the moment attraction turns into attachment, and this is where your real work begins. Because once she feels emotionally safe, her instincts shift from testing you to relying on you. She starts opening her world, not just her time or her body, but her mind. She tells you things she's never told anyone. She shares her fears, her insecurities, her doubt. And that's where most men fail, not because they're bad, but because they mistake her vulnerability for validation. They start feeling powerful because she's opening up, not realizing that power is a gift, not a trophy. The more she gives, the more responsible you must become. Because now your energy doesn't just affect her mood, it affects her sense of safety. If you lose your balance, she feels it instantly. If your tone changes, her body reacts. If your focus shifts away from purpose and into fear, her instincts tighten again. This is where many relationships begin to die quietly, not from betrayal, but from inconsistency. The Stoics taught that love without discipline becomes attachment. Discipline without love becomes distance. The power lies in the balance between the two. When she becomes attached, she's not just giving you affection, she's giving you influence. Your presence starts shaping her emotions, her rhythm, her sense of peace. And that influence can either create harmony or chaos. If you remain grounded, she blooms. If you become reactive, she retreats. If you lead with clarity, she relaxes. If you lead with confusion, she doubts. She no longer follows your words. She follows your state of being. Here's what most men don't understand. Once attachment forms, your energy becomes the emotional environment she lives in. If you are anxious, she becomes restless. If you are calm, she feels safe. If you are uncertain, she overthinks. If you are focused, she aligns. You are not her controller, you are her mirror, and she will always reflect the energy you bring. That's why emotional integrity is everything. It's not about never feeling doubt. It's about never letting doubt dictate your behavior. When you master that, she feels your peace, even in your silence. And that's what makes her stay, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Now, here's where the masculine mistake happens. When she becomes attached, men often let their discipline slip. They get comfortable. They stop leading. They stop growing. They think they've won her, but love isn't a prize. It's a process. And the moment you stop embodying the energy that drew her in, her attraction begins to fade. Not because she's bored, but because your energy no longer feels safe to trust. The same calm that once made her fall in love is replaced by complacency, and she feels it immediately. A woman doesn't stop loving you overnight. She stops feeling safe, loving you, and safety, once lost, is hard to rebuild. You cannot possess peace. You must become it. That Stoic truth applies to love too. You cannot keep her heart by holding it. You keep it by staying grounded in the man who earned it. She didn't fall for your words. She fell for your silence. She didn't fall for your effort. She fell for your consistency. She didn't fall for your power. she fell for your peace. So when attachment deepens, don't stop being the man who made her feel safe. Don't stop growing. Don't stop leading with calm direction. Keep chasing your mission. Keep refining your frame. Keep showing up with quiet certainty, because that's what reminds her that she didn't choose wrong. There's another shift that happens in this stage, one that scares many men. The deeper her love gets, the more sensitive she becomes to your energy. She'll feel your distractions before you voice them. She'll sense your withdrawal before you admit it. That's not control. That's attunement. When a woman loves you, she syncs with your rhythm. Her intuition becomes her radar. And when your peace wavers, her anxiety rises. If you can understand that, you'll stop arguing over emotions and start leading through energy. You'll stop defending yourself and start mastering yourself. Because a woman doesn't want explanations. She wants stability. Not the kind that never feels, the kind that never falls apart. The Stoics would call this the balance between eros and ethos. Eros, the spark that draws two people together. Ethos, the character that keeps them aligned. Attraction brings her closer. Character makes her stay. And character is simply who you are when no one is watching, when she's distant, when life gets hard, when doubt whispers. If your peace holds steady through those storms, you become the man she anchors her heart to, because she doesn't need perfection, she needs presence. She doesn't need endless effort, she needs emotional integrity. You don't keep a woman by loving her harder, you keep her by staying harder to shake. That's what attachment really is. Not control, not dependence, but mutual safety built on your internal stability. When she feels that she doesn't just stay, she invests, she nurtures, she softens, she builds with you, because you've become her emotional home. And when a woman feels safe in a man's presence, she doesn't look for escape, she looks for depth. That's when she stops testing you. That's when she starts protecting you. That's when love stops feeling like a chase and starts feeling like peace. There comes a point in every man's journey when he finally understands you never win a woman's heart by chasing it. You earn it by mastering your own. All the analyzing, the guessing, the overthinking, they fade. The moment you realize this truth, love was never about pursuit. It was about presence. The man who understands this stops fighting for control. He stops performing, stops explaining, stops seeking constant reassurance. He doesn't need to convince her to love him. He simply becomes the kind of man her heart feels safe, loving. That's the Stoic truth. You don't need her to choose you. You need to choose your calm. When she's drawn to your presence, when she opens up, when she begins to mirror your energy, that's not the moment to accelerate. It's the moment to slow down, because the more you rush, the more you disrupt what's already unfolding naturally. A woman falls in love not through intensity, but through consistency, through the quiet steadiness of your tone, through the peace she feels when she's near you, through the certainty she senses when everything else in her world feels uncertain, when she starts softening around you, when her voice lowers, when her laughter becomes unguarded. That's not her giving you permission to relax. That's her revealing that she already feels safe. And now, your silence, your stillness, your composure. They mean more than any words could. But this is also where many men stumble, because they mistake her surrender for finality. They stop embodying the calm that created the connection. They get comfortable, and comfort slowly kills polarity. A woman doesn't stay because you made her feel something once. She stays because you keep embodying the peace she fell for. You see, emotional connection isn't maintained through effort. It's maintained through energy integrity, that quiet alignment between who you are, what you say, and how you move through the world. When your energy stays aligned, she never doubts your presence. Even when you're silent, she feels you. Even when you're apart, she trusts you, because her nervous system has learned he doesn't waver. That's what makes a woman stay, not control, not intensity, but trust built through calm repetition. The Stoics taught that love cannot thrive in the absence of discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Control begins not with others, but within the self." And that's what this entire journey has been about, not mastering her, but mastering yourself. The moment you stop chasing validation and start building inner stability, you shift from seeking love to radiating it. Your presence becomes peace. Your silence becomes gravity. And that's when she feels something rare, not excitement, but safety. Not butterflies, but belonging. Because deep down, every woman craves one thing: a man whose energy doesn't collapse under pressure, a man who can hold space for both her fire and her fear without losing his center. Here's the truth most men never realize: when she's already emotionally attached, you don't need to prove yourself anymore. You just need to protect the peace that made her stay. Don't confuse stillness with stagnation. Your calm should never become complacency. Stay grounded. Stay growing. Keep your mission alive. Your standards clear. Your emotions steady. Because the moment you lose direction, her instincts lose safety. And when her instincts lose safety, love begins to fade, not because she stopped caring, but because her body no longer feels secure in your energy. So, lead, not with dominance, but with presence, not with words, but with example, not with pressure, but with peace. You don't heal love by chasing it. You heal it by staying grounded. You don't make her love you more by holding tighter. You make her feel safe loving you by holding steadier. Because the man who can remain still in the chaos of emotion becomes the anchor she never knew she needed. You already have her. You had her the moment you stopped trying to control the outcome and started mastering your presence within it. That's the essence of Stoic love: calm over chaos, depth over drama, presence over pursuit. So remember, you don't need to chase peace. You become peace. And when you do, you stop wondering whether she's yours. Because deep down, she already knows. So now you know the truth. You never earn love by force. You never hold it through fear. You don't chase peace, you become it. Every storm she brings isn't there to break you, it's there to reveal you. And the man who remains calm when emotions rise, he doesn't just attract her, he teaches her what safety feels like. That's the difference between men who chase connection and men who become connection. Because in the end, You never really have to make her stay. When your presence gives her peace, she stays by choice. If this message resonated with you, if you're tired of confusion, tired of overthinking, and ready to live with calm confidence, then join me. Subscribe to Stoic Truth 101. This is where we turn pain into power and chaos into clarity. Each video is a reminder that masculinity isn't about dominance, it's about direction. It's not about chasing validation, it's about choosing self-respect. Because when you master your inner world, the outer one starts to follow. Leave a comment below and tell me, what does peace mean to you as a man? I read every one of them. Your words aren't just comments, they're part of a brotherhood of men who choose awareness over impulse, respect over validation, and calm over chaos. Remember this, you already have her, when you no longer need her to prove your worth. This is Stoic Truth 101, where we don't chase love. We become the kind of men love feels safe with. Subscribe, like, and share this message with a man who needs to hear it. Because when one man masters his calm, he doesn't just change his relationship, he changes his entire life.